Welcome back to Light Talk, where the paranormal and the supernatural is a part of our everyday lives. I hope you enjoy our guest today. She's going to be fantastic. I can't wait to get started. So here we go. So welcome to the show and introduce yourself.
Hello, thank you for having me. My name's Emily Peach. I'm a psychic, a hypnotherapist, and an author.
Awesome. And we're going to go ahead and start. How did you start up with all of this? When did you find out you were a psychic?
I think most psychic children find out that they're psychic when they say the wrong thing.
Mhm.
If children are naturally very chatty, they talk, they want to get in on the conversation. And when somebody says, "Who told you that?" It's okay to say grandma if grandma is still alive. If she's not, it's a problem. And that's when you find out that somehow this is not acceptable. You don't understand it at the time. And in fact, you go on not understanding it for a while. But you do learn to shut up, to not talk quite so much, to be careful what you say, not to share things like that.
When did you start sharing things? How did this come about to where you started opening up and start sharing some of these experiences that you've had?
Well, you open up when it's safe for you to do so, when you realize that there is an environment where it's okay and there are other people like you and you can be accepted. But the whole of the time that you're at school, for example, you do not talk about it because this will set you up, really. You become a joke almost if you do. So just don't talk about it. And then you leave school, you leave home, and you find a place, a space that it's okay for you to talk about all that stuff.
Was it easy for you to find these places?
Yes, because I went to London. I went to London to work, and in London there are a lot of places that you can go, like the Spiritualist Association, you know, Psychic Research Society. There are lots of different places that you can go where it is going to be okay. It's going to be okay to be you while you're there, not while you're at the office, but while you're there. There's always a space where you have to be a little bit careful of what you say. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, what kinds of things did you notice at first that got you thinking about, hey, I'm different. Hey, this is something that other people don't understand. What kinds of things happened?
Well, you know things that you wouldn't or ordinarily know, that other people don't expect you to know. You see things that you suddenly realize they're not seeing this. Why not? Why is it that I can say, yeah, I saw grandma, she's upstairs. And they say, no, she's not, and take you there. And they say, see, and yes, you do see, there she is, right there. No, no, you see, can be a little bit tricky. So as a child, you do learn to shut up.
Yes. So I take it your parents weren't
No,
accepting of this.
my grandmother was a committed spiritualist, so she understood. But
Mhm.
it really wasn't popular with my father. So you are better not to upset him. So there were a lot of things that we didn't tell our father. Yes,
Bummer.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, but there you are. But there are a lot of people who live like that. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, you go away and you find your niche in life, and you find your own group of people, and it's fine. So I did very well in London, and I had a wonderful time in New York because I found um, something called Inner Vision, and they ran a little school in the engineering building, the old engineering building, Citibank building, and they wanted a tarot teacher, and that's what I did. So I worked there Wednesday evenings from 6 till 8, and it was $5 a lesson, and they got tea and coffee in the middle, biscuits, and I put together a program over the 9 weeks that would allow them to read right from the beginning, from lesson one. And eventually that became the tarot workbook, those 9 lessons. And it was very good because Vera, the lady who actually started that school and ran it, at
Hmm.
the end of the course, Vera would hire a little hotel room and run a psychic fair so that everybody who'd been on the course could actually go read in the psychic fair and get, practice and be confident. And they all did tremendously well. I was really pleased, because they all did well, and we had a great time. Um, and then you've made a whole group of people that you know about afterwards, and you can talk to and go further with. Go and look at things, and yes,
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
wonderful time in New York. Wonderful. And we
It's
met.
been great.
We were talking the other day, my old friend Paula and I, and Paula said, "Do you remember Thelma?" And I thought, and I said, "Was that the woman who ran Rent a Witch?" She ran this organisation called Rent a Witch, and what she would do was hire people like us to go to a party and read for all the guests, you see. And I can remember her picking me up in the city in the winter, and it was snowing, and she drove me out of the city and up Bear Mountain, and the snow is falling, falling, falling. And the police stopped us on the way there because, what are you doing? We're going to a party. And it was a good party. Yeah, yeah. But she used to come up with all these things. And Paula said, "Do you remember her asking us if we would read topless?" I don't remember that, but Paula was probably right. Probably right. Because I think at some time in her past, Velma had been a stripper herself. But yeah, she was good. She found a lot of work for us, a lot of parties. We did a lot of parties for her. Yeah,
Awesome.
it was all such good fun. And we used to go, Paula and I used to go looking for things, looking to
Yeah.
meet different people, see different things. And you do meet some very interesting people.
Hmm.
get in some very odd situations.
Very awesome. Very awesome.
And then, of course, you get lots of clients who've got interesting things for you because people book a reading. So you think, oh, they're there to get their cards read or their hand read or whatever. But they're not. They're there to find out, can you do anything about the haunted house? Can you do anything about this curse that somebody has laid on them? So you get all of this along with your average, reading life.
Right.
And it is extremely interesting.
Yeah.
And
What
you
is your
learn. Sorry,
what
go ahead.
no, you're fine. What is your most interesting experience you've had?
The most interesting, I don't know. I really
Or
don't
one of
know.
them.
Well, we were
Because I
talking
don't
about speaking of curses. Somebody came and said she was cursed. She had been cursed. And it came out that this peculiar man that she'd been going out with for quite a while said that he had buried a chicken under her doorstep, and all kinds of terrible things were going to happen to her because of this. Well, here we are living in Manhattan. So I immediately think he buried a chicken under the doorstep in Manhattan. So I actually get on the bus, and she lived up in the hundreds. We went up there, and sure enough, nobody had dug up the doorstep. But he had done a really good number on her because he had convinced her that she was in trouble, that the chicken was there under the doorstep, and that she's, all sorts of terrible things. And her mind had worked on this so efficiently that she'd done his job for him. The atmosphere in her building was dreadful, absolutely awful. I felt very awful about it.
Yeah.
So we had to do a complete cleaning, which was actually not just, a psychic cleaning. This is how you protect yourself type cleaning. It was a mop and bucket job where you clean the entire apartment and the windows and the paintwork and turf out the closets so that anything that she didn't want went to the Goodwill. She found all of the photographs and everything else. And I had an apartment it was a basement on 73rd Street. And there was a garden at the back. And we took all of these photographs and bits and pieces. And we had a bonfire in the garden and got rid of that. And she learned to visualize all of the self-protection and everything else. And we got rid of him because you actually must not, it's wrong to try and do something to somebody.
Right.
All that you can do is allow them to do something to themselves. So you put on protection around the person, protection around the building, and anything that comes in bounces. And it goes straight back to where it came from. And that hurts. So
How did he react to that?
It stopped. Everything stopped. There was no more of it. But yeah. It just goes to show, everybody says your thoughts are things, and they are. And she had created her own monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's all fixed now, right? She
was all fixed. She was fine
through, and it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
She had learned to do that. She had learned to protect herself. And in doing so, anything that came at her, straight back. And it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. It just happens like that. One of nature's nicest rules is that if somebody attacks you, it goes back. Really. It's, yeah.
Amazing. It is pretty amazing. I do it in the mornings and, evenings and all, trying to protect myself. I work on that. And it's amazing what it can do. I mean, I see a difference when I go into work, how things are done when I do this. And, sometimes it's easier than others, but when it's a good
Yeah.
session with it, oh, it's a whole different atmosphere. It's all different. It's amazing.
Yeah, because you then start to just automatically reject negativity. So you're not actually dripping in slime wherever you go. And in an office, you know that can happen.
Yeah.
You know how difficult it is sometimes to work in an office with a lot of backbiting going on. And it can be very unpleasant.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
an ordinary protection like that can stop it happening to you. Because eventually they stop. Because it's unpleasant for them. They get an unpleasant result.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And that's happened. That's been happening with me. So it's
Yeah.
it's amazing how this all works. It's just amazing. So wonderful.
I think at the moment it's difficult for people who are working anyway, because the whole employment situation is so difficult.
Mhm.
So you've constantly got backbiting and backstabbing to try and crawl to the top of the heap just in case you get thrown out.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
unpleasant. But if you protect yourself like that, it just stops. Stops.
It
It's
does.
good.
It does. Yeah. It's good. It's really good. It's amazing. It's powerful. It's relaxing. It's
Yes, it makes you
gives
feel
you a whole
better.
different,
Yeah.
yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I have in my notes here that you have had some experiences with apparitions and ghosts and um these kinds of things. Like I have that you have a ghost like recordings that didn't talk.
They,
Talking to
well,
consciousness.
ghosts mostly don't.
Well,
Ghosts do
yeah.
not talk. Um, there are lots of different kinds of ghosts. And actually, the most common ones are just like tape recordings. You know, the grey lady starts at the top of the stairs, walks down 8 steps, and disappears. She always does that. Starts at the top, 8 steps, disappears. Because there's no mind there. There's no governing intellect there. It's just like a tape recording. It's like a movie. All the things that you see where you've got the ghost saying, oh, I was murdered here and now I want. And it just isn't like that. Okay, sometimes a medium can go and find the whole history of a haunting. And you will find that there was something behind it that has created this haunting. But this is not a frequent thing. The most frequent thing is it's just a recording. I mean, I saw Roman soldiers, a whole bunch of them, 8 or 9, I was in Weston-super-Mare. I was on my way home, and there's an area that goes along the old Roman road, and there they were. And they were quite, in some ways, quite vivid. Not, it was as though they'd got pixels missing. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
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 They were not complete, but they were there, and they were all walking along. And I did wonder whether what had created that was the rhythmic marching feet, because it's like music,
Hmm.
and it creates. And I wondered whether that had created a pattern on the environment that would keep on repeating itself for centuries, really. But there they are, walking along. I saw them, but I had no feeling that they saw me.
They were focused on what they were doing.
They were moving. They were not seeing me. And I don't think that I have ever been conscious of an apparition that has been conscious of me. Not one. Because I think most of them are just movies.
I've had one that poked around a cabinet or the table where I was working, kind of poked around the corner and was like looking at me. So you don't think he was looking at me, that he was?
I don't know. I wasn't there. Did you have the feeling that he was looking at you?
Yes.
Yes. In that case, you were right. Because you
Yeah.
usually know when people are looking at you. You know when people are conscious of you. I've never had that experience that an apparition has been conscious of me.
Yeah, he looks like directly at me and was smiling and everything. And it
Mm,
was like, thank you,
yeah,
very kind man. I didn't know him, but yeah.
I don't know. That's I mean, if you go and hunt these things, if you actually go hunting ghosts, sometimes you really have to tell the person that their haunting is the central heating, because what they've done, gosh, my throat's terrible, is bought an old house and modernized it, not modernized it, but installed central heating. They haven't changed the flooring. So you've got old boards, beautifully polished, old floorboards, and suddenly they think they're hearing footsteps in this room
Mhm.
upstairs. So what's happening is it's always at the same time of day. The footsteps always go across the floor in the same direction. And when you start to ask questions, you realize that those footsteps start when the central heating logs in the evening.
Huh.
When the central heating goes on, the boards start to expand and gives you a real impression that somebody's up there walking.
Interesting. Interesting. So I have a story on that one. So I'm in the basement and I hear my husband come home from work, walk across. I hear the door. I
Yeah.
hear him walking across the floor and into the kitchen. And when I was done downstairs, I went upstairs and was calling for him, and he wasn't around. I checked my phone, and he was just then leaving work, and that's
Yes.
40 about an hour away. So
And was he very tired?
I
Did he
don't recall.
did he really, really want to get home?
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Yeah. So you had, and it's not rare either, you had the ghost of a living person,
Hmm.
and possibly had you been upstairs, you would have seen him. But it usually happens when somebody is very tired and they are desperate to be at home.
Mm,
But yeah, ghost of a
interesting.
living person, yes.
Mm, interesting. I haven't heard that side of it. That's very
Yeah,
interesting. Wow.
yeah, ghost of the living. Yeah,
Yeah.
not that rare.
Interesting.
Does happen. But it
Yeah.
usually there's usually a background there of, God, I'm so tired and I can't wait to be home. Yeah. Apparitions are one of the most interesting things. There's not enough research into it because there's you can actually there are different kinds of apparitions that have been divided into types, and they fit those types. And it really, if somebody could be just interested enough to continue the research people did in the past, you might actually get to the bottom of it because it's a fascinating subject. You know, all kinds of people saw ghosts. Cicero saw a ghost. You know, this is not, there's always this thing that you get from people. Oh, she's a bit potty, you know. That's why she's. Cicero was not potty. Benvenuto Cellini wasn't loony either. George V, he wasn't crazy. A lot of people see ghosts. A lot of people never mention it because people are going to turn around and say, oh, yeah, yes.
How many people do you think actually have seen a ghost
I
and
would
just
think
maybe not
that
say
a
things?
considerable percentage of people see things or experience things that they don't understand and never mention it.
I think it's
How
a
many
pretty high percentage.
how many people get premonitions that turn out to be absolutely bang on? Now, occasionally in the newspaper you'll see this man did not get on this plane that went down with a crash. And he didn't get on because he thought, no, I'm not getting on there. And I think a lot of people have premonitions. A lot of people know things that they shouldn't know. And a lot of people see, I think, apparitions, have experiences where they do meet loved ones after death in dreams or, yes, I think that happens to a lot of people.
I'm thinking I've got like in the 90 percentile, somewhere in a higher, mid to higher 90% that people have experienced something and they just don't realize it.
Or they realize it and they don't say anything. You know, there's a big barrier against talking about this whole subject.
Yeah.
Psychic children learn that very early.
Yeah.
You know, shut up, Emily. It, but it applies to everyone. very few people are brave enough to come out and say, I saw Aunt Lily on the stairs.
Right. I have never really heard of anybody being called crazy, to be honest, in my lifetime, but until about a year ago. And at work, a lady was talking about a light in the sky, and her daughter was sitting there telling her, Mom, you're crazy. I'm like, don't call her crazy. She's not crazy. She's absolutely seeing these things, and it's, it makes you just want to say, hey, you know, wait, she did see something. Trust her.
Yeah.
She's your mom, you know,
Yes, she's your
trust
mom.
her, you
But
know.
amazing things happen. Because I remember years ago on television, it was a tennis match at Wimbledon, and the tennis ball went straight through the net. Through, not over, through. It didn't leave a hole, it just went through.
Yeah.
Now, this was on television, and
Mm.
thousands of people saw it, and it was repeated afterwards. But if you ask, you will not find anybody who remembers that because it's very, very uncomfortable. There is no such thing as matter through matter transference, even on television. But there it was. It was there on television. Everybody saw it straight through the net.
Is that the same as when people, I haven't seen it personally, but they say that they've recorded, like on a news channel or something like that, they would record people's eyes changing into like cat eyes and then back to human eyes.
No,
What do you
never
think about
heard of
that?
that. No,
No?
no.
Okay.
But the tennis ball. You see, the uncomfortable thing about that is it's not scientifically possible. But
Mm.
I saw it, and not just me, thousands of people on television. This is a very uncomfortable place because that means that there is a little dark corner in the universe that I don't know about, that I don't understand. And
Mhm.
that's not comfortable for anyone. And in the same sort of dark corner as matter through matter transference, you've got ghosts, you've got premonitions, you've got reincarnation. All of this stuff means that you've got a nice, tidy, well lit space in the middle of the universe, which is supposed to be all of it that you understand, everybody understands. No monsters, nothing out there. But
Wow.
once you start talking about apparitions, the apparitions are out there wandering along the edges, and it's dark out there. It's not in your nice little well lit space.
Wow.
Yeah. If it's uncomfortable, people won't think about it. And if you make them think about it, that's when they turn around and say, You're crazy. You're crazy. It's you.
And yet it's not.
No,
We're
of course
not
not.
crazy. We're not crazy.
We're not crazy. A lot of other people with us are not crazy. Not at all.
Mm-mm.
But
No.
that's what happens is that it gets very uncomfortable. People don't want to think about it. Just don't.
Yeah. And that's what the show is about, to let people know they're
Yeah,
not crazy doing this stuff.
not
They're not
crazy.
crazy if they see something nobody else sees. They're not. It's part of our
No,
human nature to be able to see these things and to be able to experience this stuff.
that's right.
It's part
But
of our journey.
it's part of our journey, but it's an uncomfortable part of our journey, and some people don't want to go there. They just don't. It's like turning around to somebody and saying, they say, "What do you do?" "I'm a tarot reader." No. So you don't really.
Yeah.
You
People
just
kind of
don't.
look at me and then change the subject sometimes when I say I'm paranormal in that field. And it's like, hey, say la vie.
I, I have a friend who actually does dress um, to go and do parties and things, but she's so normal ordinarily that she gets away with that. She gets away with being a little bit flamboyant. Yeah.
It's all
And she
good.
gets invited. She gets invited to all sorts of things. She was invited onto Fox News. And that was very interesting because they gave her a playing card, a tarot card, and said, "This is Donald Trump. What do you think?" And she actually did very well. She was tactful. And the strange thing about that, the guy just took the card straight out of the middle of the deck, and it was perfect for him. Absolutely perfect. And she did a superb job. But she does get invited to do things like that because she is very media capable and a chatty conversationalist, really. Quite apart from which, she's always been a very pretty. She's always had a very beautiful face, which helps a lot. But yes, yeah. But she looks amazingly. She's got this cut glass English accent that says, "Call me crazy if you dare." She's wonderful. I love her.
Go
She's good
ahead.
fun.
That's what I say. Go ahead. Believe me or not. I don't
Absolutely.
care.
I mean, I always turn up in a suit and shirt because that gets you through a lot of things. It doesn't matter afterwards if you whip out this tarot deck because you're still wearing a suit and shirt and high heels and makeup. So you look as though normal, really. And you can do that. If I'm sure if I went along uh, in boho clothing, I wouldn't get the same response at all. Yeah,
Yeah. But
that's
everybody
what
gives
people.
off their own little energy and
Yes,
it attracts that same energy to you so that you still get those people that go over towards you for these
yes, you do.
readings. So yeah,
Yeah, you do. I
yeah.
used to love reading when I was doing a lot of it. I used to love reading, and I used to particularly like reading for charity because then you would get hordes of people, one after the other, and the money went to a good cause. So yeah, I used to love doing that.
Yeah.
I like reading anyway. Just like reading. I try to explain to people exactly how it works, what happens to the reader when they're reading. And what basically happens is the information goes in here and it falls out here. The only difference between that and an ordinary conversation is that there's no filter. So what you hear can be very tactless because the guard that's on the reader's tongue normally is out to lunch. So what you get is the unvarnished truth.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah, you do get that. And for me, it is. I say what I get. And
that's right. You
when
have
that
to.
happens, sometimes it's not very friendly.
It's not. It's not tactful.
It's not tactful.
It's not
Yeah,
tactful. You're
it's
not
just blunt.
actually. You're not putting the shine on it that you
No.
would in a normal conversation. You're not.
Mm-hmm.
I used to say, please don't interrupt while I'm reading because you'll stop the train and ask the questions afterwards. And I always used to record the reading for them because when you're reading for somebody, there's a lot of information for them to take in and they're not going to remember it. And there's no point. That's another thing. Readers do not remember what they say.
No,
Your
no.
secrets are always safe with us because we can't remember what they are.
Very few do I remember. I mean, I get the
No,
gist, but I can't tell you what I said.
no.
So,
And the people come along afterwards and say, you remember when you told me? And you have to say, no, I'm sorry, I don't.
yeah.
But I used to make tapes, and that was a very good thing because then we could all listen to it and we could discuss it. And then any questions that came up, you're almost doing a mini reading in your head at the time, so you can answer the questions then. And it works. I think it's a good idea to record readings. It's
Yeah,
good for you and it's good for the client as well.
yeah. I have paper at this point. I have paper for them to write notes in the pen so that they can
Yes.
take some
Yeah.
notes of whatever they can want to write down because, yeah.
Yeah. It was much easier. I mean, I still got one. Those old tape decks that you use an actual tape, a cassette tape. And it was very easy in those days to do recordings.
Right.
Yeah. And they used to go away with the tape, take it home, and listen to it.
Yeah.
It worked very well because they knew exactly what you'd said at that point.
Mm-hmm. How
Mm,
the reaction was and everything. Yeah.
that's right. Well, they got the
Right.
whole story on the tape, everything you said,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise, when you think about it, you're doing a reading and you may start with one layout and move on to another and move on to another, and you can be talking for an hour. And here's this poor person sitting there thinking, can't remember, even writing it down, you can't remember. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tapes, wonderful. I'm not sure how I would do it now. I think you would have to ask the other person to record it because if you did it by, for example, Zoom, you could record it.
Mm-hmm.
The other person could record it.
Right.
Yeah. It's always worth a thought to actually give somebody something to listen to so that they know, they understand.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. That's the same. I mean, I know reading is a type of channeling is what it is.
Yes.
And and when I have channeled, it's like I have no idea what I just said. I have no
No,
idea. So yeah, it's like
it goes in here, falls out there,
yeah.
doesn't stop on the way. It literally doesn't. It's not when you have a conversation with somebody, you retain it.
Hmm.
You know, the conversation gets arrested on the way, and your memory starts to work. There's no retaining there. It just goes straight
Yeah.
out.
It's a gumball machine. It
Yeah,
just
yeah,
comes out.
that's right. In here, out there. No filter at all.
Nope. No filter. It just falls out.
That's the hard part. No filter.
Yeah, it is just amazing how all that works. I am always impressed of what I say. I know it's impressive, but I don't remember it. But I'm like, I don't use those words. It's not my
No,
language,
no.
And it's like, that was so cool. What did I say?
The thing about reading that I think about reading is that it's so helpful to people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any reader is really there as a public servant, sort of, because the people who don't come to read for reading come for other things. They come to have you deal with their ghost or the fact that they're cursed or the fact that they're desperately depressed, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's important you're actually a public servant. And I am a great believer in reading for charity. Offer. I read for a lot of uh, church, you know, dues where they've got this tombola and the things with the cakes and everything else, and my little tents that I'm reading. And the last one I did, I think it was £2, which is absolutely nothing. A few pounds for a reading. And I sat there all afternoon, and I really made a lot of money for the church that day.
For you. Good for
And I
you.
thought, it's valuable, it's worthwhile on so many levels. And I think it's good for readers to do that.
Yeah, right now when I do my readings, I do it for tips only,
Yeah, yeah.
for tips. So I mean, it's a good practice for me. So it's more
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
very few people make a lot of money as a reader. I don't think the woman I was talking about makes a lot of money as a reader, but she does support herself as a reader. But then, she's the same age as me. We are mutually 80 years old.
That's that's
We are not
incredible.
we are not spring chickens any longer. So yes, she does. It is for her work for which she earns money. Yeah. But I don't know anybody who actually makes vast sums of money as a reader. Years ago, when I was living in New York, there were one or two people who in those days were charging something like $125 an hour for a reading. But that was rare.
Yeah.
We didn't see many people like that.
I see people like that around here now
Really?
doing readings and like that. But
Are they at this moment getting business? Because I can't see it, frankly.
I
I mean,
I
people
don't
are worried
know.
about putting food on the table and gas in the tank.
Yeah, right now we need that.
Yeah, everybody.
Prices
So
are
I
so
think
high anymore. But
I
yeah,
think
it's
people are more interested in because readings have become, I think, a luxury for a lot of people, and I think it's quite wrong to charge a lot of money for it anyway. There's something not right about that.
yeah,
Something not very nice about that.
I have to. I don't know. I hear different things on it. I mean, you have to make a living, and then you have to, with all of that. So I'm
Yeah,
still
you have to
definitely
make a living, but that's not $125 an hour. That's not a living.
yeah. I'm still working on pricing, if I even have a pricing. I think that's what I
Well,
do.
you will get there.
Yeah.
Make your own mind up. What are you doing? Nobody asked you.
I want to be a movie star.
Yes, so don't turn your bum to other people. They always do that, don't they? Always the thing that you see is the tail. And the,
Yeah. That's okay. My dog has a beautiful bum. I always say, because she's got some cute little, like yesterday we were looking and she's got like these cute little white eyes on the side of her tail that comes down. And it's just like, oh my goodness, you're just too cute.
got her and two Maine Coons.
Really? Wow.
Okay, everybody out. Off you go, Maine. No, I've got a Maine Coon who's trying to get in. So there you go. That's their story.
Well, I would love to have you back on if you would like to come back and talk about some more stuff. And um, I
Yes,
think it
of
would be
course.
great to have you back.
It's always lovely to talk to you.
So, yeah, you're a charm. You are such a charm. So yeah. So we'll get together and we'll get you back on the show. And you have anything to say to everybody?
Well, be kind to people. Just be
Yeah,
kind.
be kind. There you go.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank
Um,
you again.
Thank you for having me. And it's always fun talking to you. And hopefully, the next time we speak, I won't sound quite so.
Allergies are getting to all of us, so no worries.
You bet. This year we've
No
had
worries.
2 extra weeks of it. The season is longer this year, so we've had 2 extra weeks of it. And personally, I'm fed up of it. It makes you feel really quite ill.
Yeah,
The
we've got a
limit.
couple months more of it this year here. It's like it's been crazy. So
Well, it
yeah.
will go on, but it usually tapers out to the point where you've not got 90 or 100-degree pollen rating. You look at the Meteo, the weather forecast, and it tells you what your pollen rating is. And it's been right up there, 90, 100, and hence, you know,
Yeah,
I sound
very
like
intense.
sound like a broken tractor.
You're fine. You're fine.
You too. So you have a good week. I've
Yeah,
enjoyed
you too.
myself very much.
Yeah, well, we'll get together. We'll set up another time and we'll chat some more about some other experiences you've had and we'll because I know you have a lot more. So
Yeah.
Sounds
You
great.
take care.
All right. All right.
Bye
We'll
to
see you
you.
later.
Bye,
If
everybody.
anyone else out there has any stories you would like to share, email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And we will see everybody next time. All right. Bye.
Bye. Gosh.